So I wasn't looking at you. Are you still eating?
Yeah, but I
Okay.
can.
I can give you a moment on the Cocoa Puffs. Am I looking at Cocoa Puffs?
They're like the Wheatos type guys.
Oh, okay. They're not quite Cocoa. Cinema roll. They're rolls. Are they cinnamon?
No, they are cocoa,
Hmm.
but they're not like American super sweet cocoa. They're
Ah, I bought
German, vaguely chocolatey.
I bought dumb Pocacho things out of a gachapon because they were discounted.
Mm.
And you can always use those for classes, right? It's like, okay, who's going to be team this one? Who's going to be team that one? And the dumber it is, the more fun. Like I have a claw machine. I got one of those Italian brain rot things, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm not into it. I was just like, it was like hanging at the edge. I'm like, I can just bump it with the claw and it'll go down, and it did. But some kid yesterday actually knew the full name of it. So
I'm not surprised.
it took several classes of using that thing for someone to actually shout out the full name and not just maybe brain rot.
I'm starting to hear 6, 7 in my classes.
Oh, okay. Was I hearing that before you? I've been hearing that for
It's been a
months.
couple weeks. I think you were getting it before me, yeah.
Okay, it must have hit Shinanoi before it hit Matsumoto.
No, that makes sense because South School has a very different kind of kid, right? Than
Mm.
all three of the others.
It's pretty much diffuser. Some kids
I
just
haven't heard it at Matsumoto yet.
the ones that do it still it just seems to be like almost like a weird nervous tick now. It's not even like it's like they're making a joke anymore. It's just like if we're counting together, 6 7, 6 7. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. It's like a weird like cyborg glitch at this point. It's not even like they're trying to cause trouble.
Hmm. Yeah, I can believe that.
I had to like look, I looked it up and I was like, oh, the point of the joke is that it doesn't make sense. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, well, that that works. I can work with that. You don't want the thing that drives you insane. What else have I been watching? I finally got around to doing one bad laugh after another. Took me a while.
Mm.
I watched a Rental Family movie, not in the theater. I actually watched it last week, and then it opened in Japan in theaters. I assumed it opened in theaters last year, but not in Japan. So
Mm. Is
usually
it
when I
good?
it's pretty good. I mean, it's a Japanese American co-production, so it definitely has that like little strain of Japanese sentimentality. But it is good, and if you like Brendan Fraser, for sure, you should watch
That's
it.
kind of my thinking. Is like I wouldn't mind seeing a Brendan Fraser
Okay,
film.
he's really good in it. So if you like him, then that makes it more of a must see.
Mm.
I, I I guess it's like lost in translation for those of us who have been living in the country for a long time. Because the whole thing when you watch especially if you've been living in Japan, you watch Lost in Translation, like these people are morons.
Mm.
These people suck. They're gaijin smashing everything. Where the whole point in here, it's he's been living in Japan for 7 years. The character's Japanese is better than yours or mine, so
Mm.
so it's like he kind of knows the culture, but like, as you know, even when you think you know the culture, something weird always crops up, right? That's kind
Hmm.
of what the movie's sort of about.
Last film I saw, we did go and see something. I can't remember what it was now. Oh, Running Man. Running Man was good.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I went to see Sent Help. Yeah, yeah. I was almost having a. Of course, then the week after that, Running Man was dubbed only, and I'm like, I'm not going to do that dubbed. That'd be
Mm.
stupid. There hasn't been much in the theaters recently. I don't let's see what's showing it. If I
I'll
went
probably
to
watch
see,
Wicked this weekend.
uh, did you hear anything about it?
Not much.
Okay. The general consensus seems to be that it fell off a cliff from the first one.
Well,
Not telling you shouldn't watch it. I'm just like, don't, keep your expectations reasonable, I guess.
all
Were
I
you
know
ever
about
into
it
the
is
play or anything?
I've seen it. I saw it once.
Hmm. Because I get the problem I never saw the play, but the problem is I have heard is that like basically Act Two it doesn't have much to it, and they pad it, so they have to pad it out, but they did it in like the worst way possible that like kind of accentuates the problems of the second act.
I see. Well, hopefully
I
there's
don't
some good
know.
songs.
Again, I could watch it. I could love it. I don't know.
Hmm.
There's Wicked for Good. I could see that. I don't know. I'm more likely to go to the onsen though, aren't I? And get a pizza. See, that's the thing. Do I want to see Wicked for Good or do I want to hike to the onsen and get a pizza? So it's always a conundrum.
My main issue with Wicked is just that every time I see the cast, they're all like they're on so much Ozempic they look like zombies.
Mm. Yeah, I guess I haven't seen so many of the press tours and stuff, just the movie stuff. But yeah, I mean, I was never really a musical kid anyway. So, but
I like a musical here and
there's
there.
one here and there that catches my attention. I weirdly I watched The Wiz last month. You ever see The Wiz?
It's the All Black Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, with Michael
No,
Jackson as
but
a
Michael Jackson.
scarecrow, Diana Ross crying the entire time as Dorothy. It's like a really really sad movie. Um, the weird thing about it is 30% of it is like some of the best stuff ever put to film, and then 20% of it is unwatchable. Like they get to the Emerald City and Richard Pryor is the Wiz, but it's just his voice because he's still behind the mask or whatever. And they
Mm.
do this dance. It's like you're in the Emerald City, and they do this like disco number to Green. He's like, "Okay, Green's out of fashion. Now the color's gold." And now they have to do like another song to Gold. And then that ends. He's like, "Gold's out of fashion. Now it's on a red or something." They do a third musical number. This is like a 15-minute sequence where the wizard just keeps changing the color, and they have to do a new musical number to the new color. And you're like, "What the fuck is happening?"
I mean, that's kind of funny.
It's funny, but when you're watching it, it's mildly interminable. Like me telling you is funny. That
Mm,
actually sitting and watching the movie that way, and then a lot of the musical numbers, like you know the "Ease on Down the Road" number, right? You've heard that. Ease
mm.
on down the road, right? That and a bunch of the other musical numbers are shot like from extremely wide, distant angles for some reason. So it's like two people dancing off in the distance, often with their backs turned to you, and like, what? Why are you doing this?
So the other film I watched recently was I Introduced Mercy to Last Action Hero.
I need to watch that again. It's been a while.
She loved it. I realized it's just this is all the it feels like this film is just made of all the ideas they pitched for previous action films. And the people were like, no, that's dumb. They're like, well, we're making a comedy and then we can do them.
That makes sense with McTiernan. Am I saying his name right?
McTiernan, yeah.
McTiernan, yeah. I mean, that makes sense with him. The thing is, I feel like so I saw that movie opening night, right? And I
Mm,
probably watched it at least once on video and haven't seen it recently. I think I watched a few clips a few years ago because I was listening to a podcast about it.
yeah.
Um, but
I think
I feel
it
like
might be one of
I think it
those
probably
Ewok.
aged well, right?
Yeah, and especially when it's a film about me.
Mm.
It's about a kid who took Schwarzenegger in lieu of a father figure. So
Right. Mm. Sorry, I'm just looking at a Miami Connection. So I just got a message here telling me to watch Miami Connection. I got a film suggestion on messages as we were talking about films. That's interesting. Miami Connection, B movie with ninjas versus musicians, ninjas, cocaine, and synth pop. Okay, sure. Scott was
interesting.
sending that to me. His Polish coworker told him about it. So is it Andy Sedaris? I don't know. And Andy Sedaris is fun. Hard Ticket to Hawaii, Picasso Trigger. That's some good trashy fun. Yeah, you want to go to the gym, so we should start this episode. I think you're finished with your cereal.
Hmm.
Then okay, give me 5 seconds. I will start. Hello and mm, mm. Hello and welcome to Time. Hello today. Welcome to the podcast of Time Enough, where we become lovers. Matt is here, Luke is over there, and in this podcast we will become lovers.
I don't think that bit worked.
Well, I'll have to try again, won't I? Try again. Okay, yes, that's where we are today. It's try again. I said names. I don't have to say it again, do I? Yeah.
No, Matt's been trimaxing so he can podmog all of us.
Ooh, that sounds good. I want to get that on a t-shirt. But yeah, we are almost to the end of this iteration of the Twilight Zone, although I am recording them so wildly out of order. I have to record like many of the season 2 episodes still. So I saw a bit of trivia that the mask that Topher Grace puts on in this episode was seen in the last episode. I don't know that because I haven't seen the last episode. How many of these have you watched, by the way? Probably
Just this
none.
one and the other one that I did for the pod, yeah.
Okay, I thought that might be the case because yeah. And
It
that's the
kind of
case.
snuck up on me that you were back to doing these. So I
That is when you take a podcast break or you get off the script for a while. I guess it can happen. I don't know over at our I feel like a few people are listening to our Fast and Furious one over at Films and Filth. Early plug there, but yeah, this is kind of the Twilight. This and the 2000s one are definitely the ones that people don't seem to know so much about. But I don't know. First impressions on this one, I was like, at least we got an actor you want to see on this one.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing the role he plays in everything, but he's very good at it.
I mean, I was like,
I regretted you gave me a list of episodes to choose from, so I had a quick squiz at the like one sentence synopsis. I wish I'd known even less about this one because the first 10 minutes were or 20 minutes were building up to the twist I already knew, and maybe not knowing it would have made that bit work better. I'm not sure.
yeah. I mean, obviously, I had the same thing because I'm, going through these lists, listening to people asking what they want, and having to make a like. Obviously, there was the one very female centric episode where you're like, yeah, I'm not taking that one. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I was just like that. That's one of the open ones still. So,
Oh, Mercy's up for it.
right. So it was, people heard her several weeks ago if they're listening now. So
Yeah.
it's like the one of my favorite sketches is the Mr. Show pre-call-in talk show or
Pre-taped
whatever.
call-in show,
The
yeah.
pre-tape call-in show. Yeah, I think I'm kind of doing a bit of that now. So that makes sense for a Twilight Zone podcast, though, doesn't it?
Mm.
But yeah, out of the gate, I was kind of like, I'm not a Spider-Man 3 hater, by the way, but I'm like, oh, now he's playing Eddie Brock, like in this episode, you know? I'm like, he's doing Eddie Brock so much better in this episode than he did in Spider-Man 3. Age might have helped. It might have been like, I feel like Eddie Brock cannot be someone under 30, you know?
Mm.
He just feels like an older guy. That's why Tom Hardy works so well as Venom, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's
L-
playing Tom Hardy's playing anti-hero Venom. This is pure villain.
Right, right. Which you can, yeah. I mean, obviously, if Venom's going to be on the name of the movie, you have to do it that way. But if you can, yeah. Uh, I'll do a bit of the trivia on here. At this point, it's always June 25th, 2020 here in the Twilight Zone. That's not a date you want to stay at, is it?
No.
Man, if he had to keep trying in the middle of June 2020, that's bad news. The theaters aren't open, the hot springs aren't open. Restaurants might have takeout, but probably not. Yeah, you're kind of shafted there. But if you're in a time loop, you could just like you wouldn't have to worry about your own quarantine that much. Well, you'd be a dick towards other people, though, wouldn't you, if you're running around?
Well, I think as the point this episode is making, eventually you do end up being a dick to other people when you're in a time loop.
Right, right. We'll get into that. Alex Rubin is credited as writer, a producer of the show. He worked with Peele on Key and Peele and Keanu. Did some writing for Rick and Morty, and this is the fourth of his Twilight Zone episodes. Jim McGowan directed. She is known for Rust Creek, which I just found this interesting while watching this episode, which Harper's Bazaar referred to as the feminist thriller Hollywood needs right now. So that's an interesting contrast point. And of course, the Trekkie in me noticed that she helmed 3 episodes of Star Trek Discovery. Comparison point, by the way, not contrast point. I felt like that was the wrong word after I said it. Kylie Bunbury played Claudia King. She can be found mostly on TV with roles in Under the Dome, Pitch, and Brave New World, but she does have a role in the movie Game Night, which is, I guess, that's one of the last comedies that actually made money, isn't it? And that's like 2018. That's a bummer. How did Naked Gun do? That do okay?
Don't know.
I hope it did.
It definitely got a lot of buzz and people loved it. Whether it made money or not, I don't know.
That's the thing with comedies. You're like, did people actually go to theater? I mean, well, and it didn't play
Didn't It
here in
didn't play in
theaters.
theaters here, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, so if I looked and it wasn't there, I would have. But yeah, I didn't watch it in the theater, so I can't say anything. Topher Grace was Mark with a Mark or Mark Wheeler with the C or the K, depending on which one you want to go with. He got a ticket in the pop culture zeitgeist as the star of that 70s show, punched it by playing Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 3, and has also had roles in movies like Interstellar and Black Klansman. This one's an easy trivia because there's really only 2 actors.
Predators.
Yeah. My cheat for doing the trivia has been once Jordan Peele shows up as the narrator, I don't have to do trivia on the people that show up after Jordan Peele.
Mm.
Because I'm like, okay, that's the base of who are the stars of this particular show. Uh, please go ahead and give us that opening narration.
You might say that Claudia King has found herself on a kind of blind date one set up not by friend, family, or coworker. This is a match neither made in heaven nor the internet, but in the far darker web of the Twilight Zone.
Very nice. I guess this is a darker area of the Twilight Zone this week.
I mean, it's a corner of the internet that I'm unfortunately very familiar with. It's the incel manosphere. So,
The incel zone is where we are this week, I guess. Um,
hmm.
I don't know. Would you put this as a positive or a negative of the episode that it doesn't have? Usually, time loop episodes have all the crazy backward footage of sound effects and all that stuff, and really kind of do that trippy thing, which will may affect the tripometer later or not. We'll see. But this one really is just like he's just telling you he's in a time loop,
Well,
right? There's
I mean, the concept here and what the interesting thing is what does the time loop look like from the other side? So I almost feel like it'd be better if we didn't even get the little bit we do get.
Yeah. So with Claudia, is it like she's meeting this guy every day in like multiple parallel dimensions, and then he's just not showing up the next day or whatever, which is probably for the best in a lot of these.
Who knows? Because I've often thought if I ended up, if you had the Groundhog's Day happen and you'd go like, okay, today I'm just going to do something ridiculous. But is there another me that has to wake up and deal with the next day?
Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah,
Am I
if you
just leaving internet infinite Lukes in like awful situations because
not
I
if you
had a
jump
good
off of the
day?
cathedral tower,
Yeah.
as we watch Bill Murray do. I mean, I guess we do have to start talking about Groundhog Day, sooner or later, or now if you
I
want. I
was
mean,
impressed they went the whole episode without saying it.
yeah, but I guess it's so on the nose because he is doing pretty much the same thing Bill Murray does in Groundhog's Day, but there it's cute and charming,
What
and here it's horrible and creepy.
she does have a one line in Groundhog's Day where he makes like a mental note, like he goes like, "Okay, no fudge," and she's like, "Are you stalking me? Are you making a list?" But they don't really lean into it. Whereas here, it's like, yeah, that is what he's doing.
The end of this episode can suggest that Mark is maybe going to quit trying, but if he continues this loop, he'll probably start trying again next week, is kind of my
Well,
takeaway.
my takeaway was that he's just going to give up on her and just go and do the same thing to another woman.
Hmm.
And like every woman within walking distance of that day, he'll try it with until he thinks he's successful with one.
I mean, he says it himself. He doesn't consider himself human anymore. And that's what Bill Murray says. He's like, I'm kind of a god at some point, right? So
Yeah.
the infinite time loop does maybe it strips your ego before giving you a bigger one.
Hmm. Well, Groundhog's Day, the writer very explicitly said it takes some inspiration from like Buddhism. And here as well, she's researching reincarnation. And
Keeping it a little
it
more
is a
general,
form
but
of that. But yeah, it is like he's supposed to be getting closer to Nirvana, but he seems to be kind of going the wrong direction.
right. I guess that's where you need like a guide or you need a guru, man. He needs a guru.
You
So
need the groundhog, right? Isn't that what's meant to be the he has good days when he interacts? I can't remember. There's a lot
yeah,
of theories.
or what the movie Ghost, where Patrick Swayze needs to find Vincent Schiaparelli. What's his name? Maybe I got it right, maybe I got it wrong, but yeah, because
Hmm.
he's just like he's in the in between world. He has no clue what to do, so you got to have that mentor to help you, which could be a groundhog or a very tall man with interesting eyes.
Hmm.
Okay, here's another one where the person has no guide and does horrible stuff. What, 2 or 3 years before this movie is before this episode is Passengers, right?
Hmm.
Have you watched Passengers?
No, for the same reason I think you didn't for a long time. I heard the twist and it made me think I don't want to see that. Even and like because it sounds like a good twist, but I think they don't give the consequences that it deserves, was my
Right,
impression.
because Groundhog's Day keeps things like you said, kind of like sweet. Let's think of, how Buddhism r improving or enlightening yourself, whereas Passengers is this guy just doing horrible stuff here and then here, this, stuck in impossible situations, of course. But
Hmm.
there, as you know, Spock says, there are always other options, right?
Right. But I mean, it is an interesting question. if there are no consequences, like how long would you stay good?
Yeah.
Because like it's not even like there's no consequences for him. If he thinks it resets every day, eventually he thinks there's no consequences for anyone else either. Like the reason I don't murder people is not because I don't want to go to prison, it's because I don't want people to be dead, right? But if I also didn't think that consequence existed, maybe I would try, shooting someone in the head. I don't know.
Yeah, 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 your moral center can disintegrate in an impossible situation like this. I'll go as I said, I'm recording these wildly out of order, but I've already smelled a few sort of mm, s- threads going through these episodes. So one I definitely want to talk to you about because you're very not into AI, right? And
Hmm.
that is a situation though where if I start talking to the AI, theoretically I could get real nasty with the AI. That's what turns it makes it start talking like a Nazi or whatever, right? But you know, the few when I do searches, which is usually for theme park information or really obscure guitar tech questions, I'll still write please. I'll still try and be like nice as I'm doing it, and I have not fallen out of that yet, you know?
Mm. No, it's good to say please and thank you because it costs the AI companies money.
Okay, there we go. I am like, how much steam am I bursting out of some data center when I want to know about like obscure guitar pickups from the 60s, you know?
I think if you're just using it as Google, it basically is the same. I think it's much more energy than just using a Google.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So
You're
basically
not
like
using it
enhanced
to
AI.
replace any human.
Right, right. Like nobody wants to talk about like extreme guitar techie questions. Probably not even other guitar players because they'd be into other guitars, right? So
Mhm.
so it's like the things that no human wants to talk to you about is a good time to at least go for search engine AI is kind of my thing. But I still
Now, my
feel the
problem
need
is
to
that
be.
the search engines now don't work as search engines because they insist on doing AI.
Oh no, I've had like specific, clearly incorrect information, or I've had like two going and they say opposite things, and then once I sick them against each other, and one of them did capitulate. So I was like, "Hey, this other one's talking smack about you. What do you think?" He was like, "Oh, actually, he's right." I'm like, "Okay, cool," or "It's right." I don't know, but that is a situation where I'm sure a bunch of people like lucid
Well,
dreaming is the other one. I like
well,
if you.
I mean, let me give you an example. I played the Transformers video game on the Wii for the first movie. I played through the whole campaign as the Autobots. I had a great time. I started again as the Decepticons. I killed Bumblebee in the first mission. I felt sad and I never played it again. There's no consequences there. It's not real, but
Now, now on the
I
gamer
don't
side,
like being bad.
here's the other one, Grand Theft Auto games. You do like being bad in those. You want five police stars coming after you. You want helicopters. You
That's
want
true.
to
I get, yeah, I
bounce.
guess in Transformers it because it made me feel the consequence. I saw like, oh, Bumblebee's dead. I like Bumblebee. But yeah, when they're completely faceless Grand Theft Auto NPCs.
Yeah, they're
Like I've
completely
never
NPCs.
played through the campaign of a Grand Theft Auto. I've just fired it up at friends' houses and gone on a rampage.
Okay, see, I finished Vice City and I got 75% through San Andreas. But yeah, when you're with your friends, especially, it's like, hey, who can? It's like let's compete for best rampage. You know, how long can you stay at top stars?
But then a game like I really don't like Bethesda games. We're talking Skyrim, Fallout,
You should try it too.
because
Yeah, not
there's
mine.
there's no consequences to anything you do in those games, so it feels pointless. Like you go off from one direct part of the map, you become the ultimate grand wizard of all power, and then you go to the next village, and they're like, "Oh, who's this stinky bum? Can you collect three chickens?" It's like if you're gonna be this, like they're very wide, but they're an inch deep.
Mm. What are the other games? I guess it is interesting because like basically, Mark in this episode is kind of in this weird infinite video game. So now I'm like, what are the ones I actually play now that I still playing the same games I've been playing for 10 years on my iPad, which is basically Polytopia, where it's civilization boiled down. And there's not much point in making diplomacy because you need to take everyone out. It's not like Civilization where there's a diplomatic ending. You do have to take everyone out in the end. So you
Hmm.
might make a deal just to keep someone off your back for a while and just like, gee, I hope they don't attack me too soon. I still feel the weird need never to attack them first, though. but it's an aggressive game. I know they're going to.
Mm,
Uh, FTL, you're flying your spaceship, and sometimes you do start needling the other ship because you can. It's like, can I set every room on fire? Like sometimes it's like a challenge to yourself. Can I kill everyone on a ship instead of blowing up the ship? Which seems that sounds that's morally reprehensible, you know?
hmm But again, those are both games where they're interesting because your actions have consequences. I think
Yeah,
one of the messages of this is like if you can just do anything you want all the time, eventually you don't. Well, I think we've seen in the real world that when men can have anything they want all the time, what they want starts to drift in a very disgusting direction.
yes. Which is
So,
kind of what's going on here. I mean, he's not getting political power or commercial power or something. He's getting power over this particular day in this particular place.
mm. And he's trying to get as much power as he can over this woman.
Right. And like I assume like she's
She like my woman
always
just brought me a cup of tea because she knows her place. Shut the fuck up.
she can respond in retrospect to that since she's doing the episode people heard 4 weeks ago. She can argue that. This will seem like a little squib where you horribly fail. But yeah, where were we on that? Um we do get a lot of the masks here. I mean, I guess that's kind of like on the nose. One, there's a Twilight episode in the masks. It's very clear that Topher here is constructing a mask for himself as he deals with this lady. Is there a real person in there anymore? Has he been doing this so long that whoever was he an okay dude the first day, this happened?
Hmm. I mean, because
He's
also
so
he
good at
doesn't.
playing a creep. I mean, actor wise.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know how much of any of what he tells her is true, and it's a bit of like I think we've all had there are little bits of our personality that we've picked up from connecting with other people or trying to connect with other people. Like I wasn't actually that into football, and then all of my friends and the girl I liked were all into football, so I followed it and developed more of a taste for it. But then some people are just fully, I'm going to pretend to be into this thing to impress this person. And do they even have a personality underneath all that? So I'm wondering, like, he's constructed this version of himself specifically to appeal to her. Is there any real him under there? Or was he just a like completely personalityless loser? And that's incel stuff. Like their whole shtick is they've become so obsessed with getting laid or getting a girlfriend, they don't have any other personality. And then that means they then have even more problem getting a girl because they have nothing to offer a girl. And then you get down the whole shtick where it's like, oh, I'm a good person. Why can't they see I'm a good person? It's like, well, how exactly are you a good person? All you do is sit around on the internet whining. Like, in your head, you think you would be good to someone in a theoretical situation, but what are you actually doing that's good? And that's kind of him. He's like he says, you're lucky I'm nice. But we know that in this situation he's not because he's been stripped of consequences. But was he ever? Was he just, hiding his power level because he had to behave? Or was he what we would call a good person and he's just been through this loop so many times that it's lost all meaning?
Well, something that caught my attention is at the end when he decides to stop, let's say, working on her. She was never going to get hit by that truck in the first
Yep.
place because
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first
yeah.
most that was a twist that even though
I
I'd
guess
seen
that
that
was a good twist,
one,
yeah.
even though I'd seen that one line, that did kind of screw up the build up as it did for you. That one is like, oh, he was just doing that in the first place to get her attention. She was never actually in danger except maybe from him.
Well, she was in danger of having a little scare,
Mm.
but she was never actually going to hit by the bus, right? And then
Well,
yeah,
well, when he doesn't do anything, she barely responds. So yeah,
no, but she
very little
does. She
scare.
does have like a little. "Huh."
Right, right. But I mean that happens
Yeah.
all the time, I guess. Um, so Yeah, I guess he goes, but he is in a small. I assume he start. Well, he says he starts from the same place every day, so he can only go so far. That was part of the
Mhm.
Groundhog Day conundrum, right? That Bill Murray's character is stuck in that town because of the snow, so everything he
Yeah,
does
yeah,
is
yeah.
there. This guy's got a little more freedom than that. He's in a large city and can probably go, one or two cities over within a day if he wants to.
Mm,
So he's not quite as constrained as the situation in Groundhog Day. Because Bill Murray, he knew everyone in that town by the end, right? By
mm.
the 3,000 years or whatever. I won't say he'll never do it because who knows how long this loop goes. But he
Well,
also
he
might have
he
seen
knew
that.
everyone in that museum, right?
Right. He also might have gotten like an extra incel power from having watched Groundhog Day. I assume that exists in this universe. And he's like, oh, how do I get out of this loop? I find true love.
There is a little bit of that. Um, he says that to her, whether or not it's true or that's just
Because
like
he
I
watched
said,
Groundhog Day.
I wonder. No, I don't even know if he believes that because it does feel like he's targeting her, but is she the first woman he's done this with? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, that and they don't really get into that. That makes it even darker then, isn't it?
But
If he's
anyway, at
basically
least we can
trying to
say he's not as good a person as Dominic Toretto
no, Dom's
because
much
Dominic
smarter than
Toretto
this
knew
guy.
he couldn't tell Letty she loves him.
He knows about family. This guy
He
didn't
had
know
to
about
let her
family.
figure it out for herself. He was
But
patient.
yeah, why I was saying this, and I kept writing Eddie Brock in my notes, not Venom, because I felt like this is like he's now nailing Eddie Brock, which is kind of like Peter,
Well,
the
is
worst version of Peter Parker, because he does have that OG energy in this, in the not
oh yeah,
OG, but like
all power, no
OG.
responsibility, right?
Yeah, there we go. He's all power, no responsibility, and he's willing to do whatever he feels like at this point because he's a god in the situation.
Hmm.
Let's
I
see. I think.
guess the question is like, do you feel like doing anything awful?
Well, that was my other thing. I mentioned lucid dreams because when they do happen, I've talked to other people and they're like, I can't tell you what happens in my lucid dreams. Where I've never really felt the need to do anything particularly awful. And I
Yeah,
usually
like,
prefer a good vivid dream over a lucid dream.
hmm. I mean, we're both of us are stepping around using the word for the awful thing that he's obviously thinking about doing,
Right.
which maybe is right of us to do. I don't know, but it's like even if I had the holodeck and I could do whatever I want, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's why. Like for me, lucid's usually if the dream's getting weird, and then I can stop worrying about. Last night, people don't want to hear me describe my dreams, but I did have a dream where we were exploring something and fell into basically a pool of sewage.
Hmm.
And at that point, I was kind of we're looking for water, get clean or whatever. I'm like, should I take my phone out of my pocket? I'm like, oh, actually, this isn't real anyway. So and I don't smell anything, so I guess I won't worry about it too much. So that's light lucidity. Just
Right.
enough that it's not. I'm having a dream that maybe should be a nightmare, but kind of isn't a nightmare because I've taken the edge off.
Hmm.
So I guess that's my speed.
Right. It's like when people ask me, like, "Oh, what would you do if you had the holodeck?" And it's like, the one thing I want to do on a holodeck is step outside the holodeck and be on the Enterprise. So,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. A holodeck would get somewhat dull after a while, I feel like, because again, if you're with AI, you start to very quickly see, like, if you try and get it to, say, tell you what someone say, it's always in the same phrasing and stuff. They'll use specific words from that person, probably found in interviews and things, right? But
hmm.
it's like,
Well,
here's a
yeah,
template.
plenty of people have managed to Lieutenant Barkley their way into falling in love with a LLM. I'm not
Yeah,
going to use
yeah.
AI because it's not AI.
Right, like Spike Jones, her, I can't. The AI we have now is not like that. That one seemed, I mean, the whole point of that movie is he, I guess, makes an actual connection. That's also, kind of like weird incel energy to a certain extent. It's
Oh
been
yeah,
a
I
little
mean,
while since I watched it too, but
we literally don't have AI. They keep trying to sell it to us as AI because it sounds good, but it's not intelligent. It's
yeah,
not
the seams
thinking.
show very quickly, I guess is my point. But,
We have predictive text turned up to 11 is what we have.
again, if I want to know like the specific differences between every frozen ride around the planet, AI is very, or the search engine, the enhanced search engine, we'll call it that, is very useful. But
Yeah, that's sort of the what this technology is good for. It's
nobody wants to have that conversation. Or a few people do. Nobody in my regular life wants to have that conversation.
oh yeah,
Uh,
because it's like unfortunately we give them that inch, we know the mile they want to take.
yeah.
So
Well, let's throw some questions out on this episode. Of course, the first is who in this episode goes in or through the Twilight Zone? We only have two characters, so
Well, it's interesting because I do think Mark is the one in the Twilight Zone.
I agree because
And
yeah, because what, not was it Julia?
Claudia.
Claudia. Okay, she's. I mean, if she remembers it the next day, it's like that was a weird experience, you know.
Mm.
Even the one that had the confrontation, like, was under threat of what murder from him, does go on to the next day, and it's like that was. She's a little more traumatized than obviously the one that he just looks at from afar. But I don't.
Well, that's why part of me even. Do you think this episode could have been better if we didn't see any of Mark's perspective? And
Hmm.
we were left like, is he really in a Groundhog's Day, or is he just stalked her? Has he just set this whole thing up?
Was he doing too much internet searches?
Yeah, right. Like because if we never got that, we do get a few little flashes of him iterating, right? But we could have not had that, and there would be a conceivable like. But I could imagine how he could have done this just by stalking her, and maybe he paid that kid to throw a bottle when the alarm goes off.
Here, I kind of like the supernatural element. The last episode I recorded, weirdly, is
Mm.
the first episode of the season, Meet in the Middle. In that one, there was also a confirmed supernatural element. And in that one, I was like, this episode might actually be interesting if you just took that supernatural element
Okay.
out. This one, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a time loop fan. I mean, my favorite
Mm.
Star Trek episode or Next Generation episode is Cause and Effect, where the ship blows up at every commercial break. So
Hmm.
I do love Groundhog Day. I'm a sucker for these things.
And I mean, obviously, I like the high concept of let's look at the Groundhog's Day from the outside. So I can totally see it. It's just because what he's doing is so adjacent to real life stalking that
Right. Well, he's got the magical element to what he's doing. Not magical like Disney magic, but magical as
mm,
in like he has. Again,
he has some kind of power. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, if I guess if you're in time loop, technically you eventually are a psychic, even though you still can't read minds in real time.
Mm,
Obviously, he can't read minds in real time because he can't handle communicating with Claudia.
hmm
But
And
Claudia, I would say,
also, I guess it shows like just to go back to talking about incels and whatever, he has like a baseline understanding without actually having like human empathy. So he can remember all these facts about her, but I don't think he really understands how she's feeling moment to moment. And I think it's very common. So my best friend Katie, she's going to be best man at my wedding. She's pretty young girl, and she's a gamer. So she's had a lifetime of guys thinking they're in love with her because they both play games. And this is like he thinks he's in love with her because he has these few facts about her, but he doesn't actually, I think, understand how she feels or how she is as a human being, even though he claims to.
yeah, it's like I've had a few live, because I podcast a lot, and then I've had a few like live chats or whatever, and a few times, and nothing bad here, but a few times people are like, "Oh yeah, you're a big Beach Boys fan." I'm like, "How do you know that?" I'm like, "Oh, because you've been listening to my podcast." Okay,
Right.
which is fine. That's fine, but it's still when I first hear, it, I'm like, "What? How do you know that?" I never said
Hmm.
that to you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Someone could know an awful lot about me because I have no filter, and I've been on hundreds of hours of podcasts at this point. But
Right, right, and that's different. If you just dig listening to someone on the air, obviously, and you do talk to them, you're going to know a few more things about them than they know about you.
no, and I have met people I know from podcasts, and it has been a bit weird. Like you're starting this friendship from zero, and I know a lot about you. I think that's a more and more common thing in the internet age
Right, you've been in
of
my
like
ear so much, man.
if you like people who are meeting on Tinder right now, if one of them has a very open social media and the other one doesn't, and they decide to have a little stalk, then like you can go into your first date knowing way more than you should about another person.
Um, well, let's take this to the second question. Does Mark deserve his trip through the Twilight Zone, which it seems is never ending. So he's stuck there for good.
Well, maybe now is the time to do the closing narration. Claudia King will, like most of us, proceed directly to a lifetime of tomorrow, leaving Mark Wheeler to spend an eternity in a prison of his own design. The inability, no matter how many times he's given, to see beyond himself. An endless loop of solitude confinement here in the Twilight Zone.
Okay,
So,
go ahead.
like, Jordan does describe it as a prison.
Mm.
So he is getting like a kind of Twilight Zone punishment.
That's where I'm kind of getting at with like day one mark. Like we need to know day one mark, and I think the narration is suggesting that maybe day one mark also had some serious problems,
Well, I
some
mean, I
self-absorption
just
problems.
think he's a bit of an incel, and so he can only see women at that base level, right? Like physical attractiveness or shared interest, whatever. And he's been stuck in this loop long enough to learn that he wants a deeper human connection, but now he can never have it. So he can have all the tries he wants to, get in someone's pants, but he'll never get them to actually love him back.
But yeah, I guess this is a case of trust the narration. It is suggesting that he deserves it because they call it a
Hmm.
prison of his own making, which, okay, he's not empathetic, that sort of thing. Uh, so the only other character really to talk about is Claudia, where some Claudias we don't even need to discuss. If he's watching from afar, she doesn't notice that doesn't.
Hmm.
But the Claudia that has the full confrontation with the sword and stuff, I mean she doesn't deserve that at all. But I think she
I
will
mean,
get
she got the
probably
cathartic
get
of
over it.
punching his face in.
Yeah, yeah.
That's very fun to
And
watch.
saying I'm going to do that in every time loop, even if I don't remember doing the last one. That's pretty badass. So,
Hmm.
she at least gets her agency, right, or keeps her agency.
Yeah.
So, she obviously she does not deserve that situation though.
Also, if I was watching this as an incel, the fact that security guards come in, find a man bloody on the floor, arrest him, and let her punch him again, like,
Maybe they're in on the time loop as well.
oh, that,
They're
like,
the security guards of the Twilight Zone.
they are assuming the man is in the wrong. Turns out they're right. But if you walk into a situation and one person's bloody on the floor, do you assume the one standing up is the good guy? It's like, well, she won the fight. She must be the good guy.
Winner. I got a belt ready. Yeah. Um, I guess we're going to go ahead and throw this one on the tripometer. Zero's not trippy. Five's very trippy. Anything in between? Weird noises.
I'm trying to judge it without having read the synopsis, but I think they give you enough clues early on as to what's going on.
And it
So I
is the
think,
Twilight Zone. I mean, you know you're watching an episode of the Twilight Zone, so that
yeah,
helps.
I think even if I hadn't read it, I'd have known it was a time loop within the first 20 minutes or so. And then it's an interesting look, but I don't think it was especially trippy. I think I'm just gonna go like a two.
Okay. I was thinking three. Time loop for me does add some inherent trippiness, but like I said, it doesn't do the visual cues of a time loop, which artistically is interesting and cool. And I think it's fine they did that with this episode. But as far as just being trippy, yeah, you need some of that stuff, don't you?
Oh, there
someone
was
will.
one part I was watching it on a website, and the sound went out of sync, but I couldn't tell if it was doing like a trippy metaphor thing of him reliving the day, and then I realized like, oh no, the sound's just out of sync.
The
I need
sound
to
did go. Okay, see,
switch
that's
player.
that's the danger of a time loop there, isn't it? Oh, and I'll be remiss if I don't mention that the truck that almost hits her is like Mr. Dingle's truck from your favorite episode, Mr. Dingle Strong.
I see. Also, the lady who tells off the kids in the museum, was she the woman from the last episode we did?
Oh, I might need to just trust you on that because I've probably recorded
Well, we
five
don't. We only
seasons
we
of that
only
one.
see her in like
Is it the
blurry background visions. So
is it the mom, the kid's
that's what I
mom?
thought. Yeah.
Okay, I can. Her kid is listed as some kid. Here I can probably do that pretty
I don't know.
quickly.
It's not her. It's not
Two
her.
episodes. Hold on, two episodes. What's the other one? No, it wasn't one you watched. Sorry, it was the Blue Scorpion. She was in the Blue Scorpion as well, but that
Yeah.
Mark was on for that one, so uh, not the same. But hey, worth checking. She turns out she was in another episode, so you were not wrong about that.
Mm.
Um, any final thoughts you want to throw out on Try Try?
Um. If a woman says no, don't try again.
Yeah, that's how the Me Too movement got started, isn't it?
That's the advice that young men used to be given, though, right? So just keep trying. Eventually, she'll give in.
I
Like,
never really got that advice. I think maybe it's just yeah. I guess it's a place, time, family, all that sort of thing. But yeah,
yeah,
no one ever really told me to do that, and I didn't. So,
I don't. Yeah, I don't think I ever got that advice. But me and my family are pretty young, so
mm.
although I don't think I really got any advice of any kind. So I remember my parents sitting me down to have a talk when I was like 14, 15. It's like, yeah, I know. I already heard all of this on the internet. Like, and also, it was like my dad trying to give me the talk while my mum just threw in gags. Like, why? You don't need to be here, mum.
Hey, stand up is always a good way to put through
Yep.
some your more heated ideas. Um, anyway, if you're digging this chat, Time Enough Podcast, do the rating reviewing for that. No one hears those words anymore. You can listen to Luke and I talk a whole bunch about lots of movies, including all the Fast and Furious movies over at the Films and Filth podcast, which a few months ago was called the Fast Films and Furious Filth. I'm realizing this is all like probably like 2 months ago. So yeah,
Yep.
I'm stuck in my own time loop. That's the problem.
Right now, is it even on season two, the podcast?
Uh, now, oh God, now we are getting to the pre-tape call-in show territory.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
It's about to come out, so if you're stalking me and listening to me right now next week, but if you're listening to this podcast,
Yeah,
it
that
should
was
probably
9 weeks ago. Wonderful.
good enough for a stopping point for me. Okay, I will hit the record then.